good. Live. There we go. One sec, guys. I'm gonna send this through Telegram real quick. All right. All right. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear, and then we'll go ahead and begin right away. What's up? What's up? What's up? Yeah, quite a lot talked about today. I just wanted to, it's been a while actually, it's been a week now since we've actually sent any sort of major trade opportunities, but I just wanted to kind of, focus on the current setups and what to expect with the Iran-Israel war. And, it looks like things are starting to calm down, or rather the market just stopped caring. And we're seeing quite a few squeezes across the board. Now, I want to quickly explain the setups. I want to quickly explain what to expect for the next few days, and then kind of go over some charts with you guys. We can talk about the trades we took, just so everyone can understand from an education standpoint. But first, I want to go ahead and analyze Bitcoin. Now, you can see on Bitcoin, I did not send a continuation trade today. A little bit of my fault, to be honest, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Like last night, we entered the trade here at 106.8 into 107.3. Now, just from a technical standpoint, okay, just from an education standpoint, the reason why I didn't personally send the continuation trade was because of the fact that the 107.3 should have acted as a crucial resistance. It was ideally the same level of support right here, multiple tests. This is why I figured, okay, this is a good spot for me to start looking to take some profits. Now, of course, we had the wick high break, market came back down. I could have definitely sent the secondary trade right here at 107.8 for the squeeze into this region right here at the top of the moveset. But the reason why I did it was because of the over trading aspect. But usually when you have some sort of V-shaped formation like this, you have to keep in mind that if, of course, the structure ends up breaking. So let's just assume this, in terms of Bitcoin right now, was a small V-shaped formation. We knew that, okay, the V-shape was going to end at the top of moveset. But hey, what happens when it continues pushing higher? Well, the next take profit would be at the top of the moveset. So here would be 108.8. What happens if it continues pushing higher? Well, the next V-shaped top formation is 110.3. Now, to talk about the 110.3 level, this is where things get very interesting. You can see from previous price analysis here as well that Bitcoin has already tested this region multiple times, right? So you can see multiple test opportunities in this region, as well as the fact that this is now going to become the third test opportunity. Usually on third test opportunities, we tend to see a massive squeeze position, and this is also on the 4-hour, but as well as even on the daily structure. We have a third test continuation. We are above our exponential moving averages. So right now, everything is lining up for a massive squeeze again for Bitcoin, and possibly a new all-time high during this week, if not early next week. As long as we can try to hold above the 107.3 region, I'm actually looking for long positions only. You guys already know the main thing we have to keep in mind is our exponential moving averages. Now, why did we not trade last week, right? A lot of you guys were saying, oh, Pingu, is this a setup? Is that a setup? A Solana, this and that. The reason why I didn't enter any of those trade opportunities was because of the current macro environment, right? Usually when you have war, you tend to see a lot of volatility, and we did see a lot of volatility, right? This is pretty much when the escalation started. We saw a huge drop on Bitcoin. You see the wick lows of around 102. Now, again, I'm not someone to start calling for the bear market or anything like that, but instead just trading off our exponential moving averages. I simply just waited for the weekend break. That's all I did, right? I didn't trade this chop. I was not interested in trading this sideways action. Instead, I told you guys, let's wait for the EMAs to break, retest as support, and then we can go ahead and start trading once again. And you can see that pretty much for the past day, we've broken above the levels perfectly. So once again, what I'm paying attention to over on Bitcoin as of right now, for a massive swing long position. So again, swing long or even a scalp or any sort of breakout trade, all we really want to do right now is just pay attention to our wick highs here at around the 110.8 region. So right around here is where the next area of resistance where I'm going to be focusing heavily on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change the color of the line to red so everyone knows that this is now the next region of resistance that we want to pay attention to. If Bitcoin does end up breaking above this zone right here at 110.8, this is now the massive squeeze in terms of the next all-time high. We should see a very nice continuation because, again, all of these folks right here, are going to end up getting stopped out, or of course end up getting liquidated. We're going to see the momentum of the candle, and it is going to be very large. So everyone can go ahead and copy down the charts. I will of course keep you guys posted in Telegram in terms of that trade setup, but that's what I'm paying attention to Bitcoin as of right now. Again, the top of the current 4-hour move set, if Bitcoin ends up breaking 108.8, so this is a continuation trade. If Bitcoin ends up breaking 108.8, then we should be looking at around the 109.8, right around this region for the top of the V-shape. So this would be completed here. But again, remember, speaking about momentum, if we have this area already tested previously, so once again, if the area has already been tested twice, now we end up hitting the same region a third time, what is the more likely outcome? The more likely outcome is the fact that the market will end up pushing further upwards, right? Because we've already tested the level twice. The bears already had 2 chances to take control. This is now the third test opportunity. Again, weekend-wise, I don't consider weekend trading anything because it's just simply noise. Now, in terms of Ethereum, bear with me. I know the chart looks horrendous only because I have so many lines, but it's for a good reason. Now, in terms of Ethereum, I told you guys last night that, hey, look, realistically, if we end up breaking above on Ethereum, there's nothing stopping Ethereum from hitting 2638. You can see we ended up hitting that level perfectly, but just zooming out on the chart. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll just remove my drawings here. Zooming out on the chart, the top of the move set for Ethereum is going to be at around, the first stop is at 2698. So same thing like Bitcoin, the first stop for Ethereum is at 2698. If Ethereum ends up breaking 2698, where's our next stop? The next stop is a wick high at 2775. If Ethereum ends up breaking 2775, ladies and gentlemen, I've talked about this trade for a very long time. This is the massive trade opportunity on Ethereum that a lot of people are not paying attention to. This current chop we are seeing is already accounted for from previous price. It's the same chop. It's just happening again. The same exact chop happening both ways. But if Ethereum can break above 2883, the top of the wick high, there is nothing stopping Ethereum from going to $3,300. There's absolutely nothing stopping Ethereum in terms of resistance from going to $3,300. And the reason for that, again, is if you look at previous price analysis here, the main drop we saw in Ethereum, so again, the first candle at 33, the top of the move set, we saw Ethereum drop down to 2100 and then of course slowly down to 1400. This liquidation candlestick right here, so this candlestick is the one I'm talking about right here, this massive candlestick, so that's this candle right here. This is the one where if Ethereum, of course, does end up breaking, just like it came down, it's the exact same way going back above. So that's why I'm paying attention to Ethereum right now. We are looking for a breakout opportunity here. So again, 2883 is the level to watch. I do have an alert for you guys, which I will, of course, keep you posted as always. But that's pretty much what every single chart right now in terms of Bitcoin, Ethereum, they all look identical. Everything looks identical, guys. Look at Ethereum, look at Bitcoin, look at Solana. Actually showed its hand a little too early, and the reason why I didn't really send anything for Solana was because of how choppy it was. I know the ETF is of course coming soon, and that's why I'm not really trading this volatility aspect of it just yet. But in terms of Solana, top of move set is 159, continuation should push us to around 167. But me personally, reason why I don't necessarily send too many trades is because I don't want you guys to overtrade too much, right? I want everyone to have the perfect setups, and that means is if Bitcoin continues pushing, then what does that mean for altcoins? So if we go here over on Doge, you will notice that Doge as of right now is the only setup that has not completed. So again, I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys once more. Look at Bitcoin, right? So everyone paying attention, look at where Bitcoin went in terms of the V-shape, top of the move set. Look at where Ethereum is. Hasn't quite completed the top of move set, but we're getting close to 2698. And now in terms of Doge, if I can just scroll in the right area, in terms of Doge, we haven't even gotten close, right? Look at the current setup on Doge. This is where risk to reward and where trade opportunities for me are at least is over in Doge, because now Doge is one of those trades that is lagging behind. And of course, the reason why we're waiting for 18.1 to break is you can see that this area was a crucial support. I don't want to trade these wick opportunities. And if you look here right there into 0.8145, it is, everyone paying attention, it is the top of this current move set. So what happens if Doge ends up breaking out? What happens if Doge ends up breaking 0.1845? Well, there's this massive gap opportunity. There's nothing in between this level as resistance. How do I know? Well, I can see the last time Doge broke above, we ended up hitting that resistance multiple times. So that's all I'm simply waiting for, is the break above this structure here at 0.1845, or even if you want to enter a little bit more aggressively, you can even enter at 0.18100 on the break of that. We can see we wicked there, we did not break that level, but that's ideally the continuation trade. And again, guys, look how perfect this setup is. Right now, in terms of Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're already leading the path for the continuation. Doge has a W formation, but what's guaranteed, right? The guaranteed part is 0.185, just from previous price analysis. We don't know if Doge is going to break above this level and then we squeeze into 0.193. We don't know that. Nobody knows that, right? I can't sit here and be like, yep, that's the level we're going to head to, guys. That's where no, I can't be that person. Instead, I can tell you, based on this level here at 0.1845, if we end up seeing a break, just looking at previous price analysis, it's a very clean squeeze into 0.1855, which is quite a big of trade, right? It's a massive trade regardless. I know the decimals might be a little confusing for some people. They're like, oh, it's only like a little 100-point system, but no, it is actually quite a lot of money if you can catch that trade setup. So that's what I'm waiting for Doge in terms of continuation. If Bitcoin and Ethereum continue squeezing, let's say even if Ethereum goes to 2698, like it looks awesome right now, right? Of course, we haven't quite tested our exponential moving averages, but Ethereum does look very nice into 2698. If 2698 plays out and Doge still has not moved, that is an area of opportunity for you. That's this kind of setups that I look for. And the same reason goes with Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin rallies and Ethereum is lagging behind, what do you guys see me say always? Hey guys, Ethereum's lagging, it's presenting a nice trade opportunity. And sometimes I send the message and Ethereum moves right away. Other times it might chop for like an hour or two, but then it moves. As long as you get the direction of the trade right, you are in profits. And what do I mean by that? Simply means is if, of course, I'm not saying, okay, guys, we're shorting, right? I'm not sitting here and saying we're looking for shorting opportunities. Here, one second. I was just getting a... I'm not saying we're looking for a shorting opportunity here. All we're saying is in terms of a directional trade, we're actually looking for a long squeeze, right, on Doge simply. So what does that mean? We simply look for that long continuation. We wait for the break and we enter the long setup and we will profit regardless, right? We're not looking for the shorts in terms of continuation. Does that make sense? Everyone on the same page there? So that's pretty much the setups as of right now. In terms of Bitcoin, there's not too much to pay attention to. I would actually be focusing more on the 110.8 now. In terms of Ethereum, we are looking good clear skies for around 2698. If, of course, we end up breaking the wick. Simply put, just wait for the wicks to break, enter long, enter long, enter long. As soon as you see this wick break, you can enter long for the continuation in 2698. But the main setup that I personally am watching is going to be Doge, because Doge has not moved yet. This is something that I do expect to squeeze later into Asia hours. We should see a very nice rally for Doge and for that continuation. Does that make sense for anything? Pengu, a lot of these other coins, you can look at Pengu too. All of the charts are exactly the same. Everything is moving in the same direction. There are obviously risk to rewards. That's not there on Pengu in terms of a spot position. There is not in terms of leverage right now. But that's why. Everything right now looks to complete the top of the move set. And there's a lot of altcoins right now that are simply not yet completing their tops. And Doge is one of those coins. And that's why I'm focusing heavily on that wick break. We get that break at 0.1845. We enter the long position. We call it a day. We are not being greedy. So once again, we are not sitting there hoping for the fact that, okay, 0.185 breaks, right? We're not sitting there like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to take the long. No, we're just simply entering the trade into 0.1855 once this level breaks. So again, 0.184 breaks, enter the long, ride it into 0.1855, close the trade, and that's it. You're done. There's no more hoping for the best, right? That's why a lot of traders struggle, because they end up holding their positions, and then easily Doge ends up rejecting something like this, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I should have closed, I should have done this, I should have done that. That's why I'm telling you guys, just simply wait for 0.145 to play, enter, exit, and you're good to go. Everyone on the same page? Like, look at Ethereum right now squeezing, right? Why do you think it's going to happen to altcoins in general? As long as the Ethereum continues to move upwards, so will Doge, so will Solana, so will everything. But the only dangerous part for me looking at Ethereum right now is this right here. The exponential moving averages have not been tested. If, of course, we tested the EMAs and then we were squeezing right now, I'd be like, yeah, this is a perfect momentum trade. We have a lot more volume here, 26.98. And again, 26.98 most likely does play out for tonight. That is the main top profit area that I told you guys at 26.51. If it breaks, there's really not much stopping Ethereum from 26.98. But in terms of alts in general, the issue... Oh, well, look. So you guys see that? Again, look at Ethereum now, 2680. This is where the fun begins for me, right? Because I'm explaining this live and you guys can see it happening live now. So look at Ethereum in terms of the 4-hour chart. Why all of a sudden did it just jump up $10? Anyone want to take a guess? Well, because there's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing here in terms of resistance. Do you see my lines and do you see the gaps? The reason why my lines work so well is these gaps aren't there for a magical reason. They're there because it gives me the idea and perspective that there's no more resistance here. So now with Bitcoin continuing to push, I know the top of the moveset is 26.98. That is most likely where things are likely to go. And again, if I go over on Doge right now, you can see Doge is starting to move the same exact way. Does this make sense for everyone? Is everyone on the same page? That is what I'm trying to teach you guys. Is there's opportunities in this market. There are a lot, but you can also ignore a lot of the noise and mistakes and just simply wait for setups like this. For example, Doge, Ethereum, even like wait for Bitcoin. You can see if Bitcoin breaks 108.8, starts pushing into the 109 region, the top of the move set, 109.8, more than likely than not, Ethereum will hit 26.98. Doge will hit 0.1855 because the market moves together. Bitcoin isn't just going to go up and everything's going to crash along with it. When one goes up, everything goes up. When one goes down, everything goes down. Of course, there is altcoin season. That's a little bit irrelevant right now, but I just want to give you guys a perspective, right? So that's pretty much it for me in terms of trade setups. I think I explained pretty much everything I wanted to. And of course, again, main trade for Bitcoin is not going to be here at 108.8. It's actually going to be at 110.7 or 110.8, sorry. Mark that in your calendars. Mark that wherever you need to. That is the mega trade. If that breaks, new all-time high will happen. And that's the level we want to pay attention to. So everyone understand? Does that make sense for everyone? The session is recorded, so if you need to go back and just, try to understand what I'm trying to explain, feel free. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hancock, real quick for Doge. So the question is, would you say Doge has broken through the 4-hour EMAs close and has it been retested? So we can actually look at this together here. So you can see that yes, right now Doge has broken above the EMAs, right? So we broke above the EMAs. We ended up retesting, not perfectly. So again, yes, Doge can still move back down into 0.1773, retest that level, and then push higher. And that's why I said, wait for this level here at 0.184 to take the long position. Because if this level structure breaks, then yes, that's your confirmation is already tested as support. It's closed above, and then you enter long. Does that make sense for everyone? So yeah. So that's pretty much all I'm pretty much looking for in terms of the current setup for the market. Is just simply Doge. If Doge ends up breaking, we enter the long, and that's it. That's all I got. Bitcoin, Ethereum, we already played it very well. I don't like over trading. I don't suggest you guys over trade as well. A lot of folks just hunt trades over and over and over. Me personally, if I'm profiting on a trade and I've closed it, I'm pretty much done for the day. No matter, I don't care if Satoshi comes out and says Bitcoin to $1 billion, it's not worth it to me to end up taking the more stress level in terms of these trade setups. So that's why I'm pretty much done looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Instead, I'm just focusing on the setups that have not yet played out, and that, of course, would be Doge. So that I hope that makes sense. But yeah. All right, that's it for me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and just go chill for the rest of the day. I have alerts on for Doge. Of course, if it ends up breaking, you guys already know. The levels are on stream as well as in the Telegram. Telegram channel is free. If anyone does want to join, I will go ahead and link it in the bio for those of you that are new. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I know this session was pretty short, but again, I don't really have too much to explain because I've already explained it so much in Telegram. I just wanted to quickly make sure everyone was on the same page in terms of directional trading. But yeah, okay. Anyways, guys, have a good day, and I'll catch you guys later this week. I will, of course, keep you posted on Telegram if we do end up seeing that break over on Doge. And I thought that was the EMA, but it wasn't. It was just a line. Okay. All right, guys. Peace out.